Hey guys, I know it's been a bit since this part has been out for a while, and I want to continue and finish the story. So we're going to leave where we last went off as Piccolo defeated Frieza. Make sure you watch the previous video how that went out. So let's begin on part 2 on what if Piccolo kept up with Goku. After a week so that Piccolo has shown battle, but as soon as Goku transformed into Super Saiyan Blue, Piccolo had no chance. But it does give Goku a bit of a challenge. It goes similarly like Frieza, but luckily Goku doesn't need to worry about Piccolo Black's doing something tedious trickery here to win. And Piccolo took the defeat pretty well. And the next day, this is where Piccolo and Vegeta have a spar match. It goes pretty weirdly because these two never actually fought in the original. So, like, these two are very smart fighters, so they took their opponent's weakness to their advantage. And this is, but luckily, Piccolo has much more better on dealing with Super Saiyan Blue. But unfortunately, for our favorite Namekian, Vegeta is still outmatched the main Namekian by pure powers and overwhelming and outpacing Piccolo. But luckily, Piccolo has gotten a much more important information in the battle between the two Saiyans. Piccolo is getting much more closer than he expected. So he wants to keep training until he gets an even footing between the Saiyans. Luckily, Piccolo gets that chance on the next arc. Once Piccolo has finished with his sparring match with Goku and Vegeta and tapping an unknown form that he accidentally tapped, so he went to his training session and figured out how to tap in and pull out this weird transformation that he just discovered. It took him a bit. He managed to pull it out, but he's unable to really what it means. I mean, he can pull it out, but he still can't fully tap it. So he can only tap this unknown form for a little bit amount of time. However, this excites Piccolo. Finding out a new transformation that he has yet to discover excites him quite well. So, but luckily for our favorite Namekian, he's going to test out as the recent new tournament between Universe 6 and 7. Goku invites Piccolo for the tournament. Even Beerus requested him to join the fight, and Piccolo is quite flattered by this and eagerly accepts the challenge. So we go to a few episodes forward until we get to the universe versus universe arc. But first off, our fighters has to write a test, which Goku barely passes, but we don't need to worry about Piccolo. He is probably the smartest fighter smartest fighter in Universe 7. So once the episode plays pretty similarly. However, since Piccolo is much more stronger and is facing a Frieza that he just was defeated years ago. Luckily for our favorite Namekian, he is much more stronger and he just fought Golden Frieza, pretty much his upgraded form, which is going very similar how it goes similarly how Vegeta KOs Frieza here. Piccolo simply goes to Ultimate Piccolo and just one-shot him, no problem. Pretty easily, my ad. And this Piccolo met Cabba, a young Saiyan, and Piccolo pretty much says he needs to transform in order to have a chance against him. But Cabba is unsure how to because he has never turned into Super Saiyan. So Piccolo will take the role for Vegeta here because he did go on to become the strongest Saiyan at that time. Unfortunately, he didn't train, so but regardless of that, Piccolo would reveal Vegeta here, and this allows Piccolo to let Cabba transform into a Super Saiyan like the original. But as soon as Piccolo goes to his ultimate form, he one-shot Cabba by chopping his side of the head, knocking him out. And this is where Cabba wants to train on Piccolo, but Piccolo simply says that he doesn't know about Saiyan transformation, but the best teacher he could mention is Vegeta or Goku. And even though Cabba wants to be trained by Piccolo, Piccolo is right because Piccolo isn't a Saiyan, but he needs to learn how the form works. So later on, he might want to ask one of the Saiyans in Universe 8. But regardless, Piccolo goes to the next match here. And this is where Piccolo fights a mechanical fighter and is unsure how to approach, but regardless, he would try his best to fight against this robotic fighter. This played pretty similar in the original how Vegeta fought Metallic here. But since I mean, it would happen. Piccolo would throw some harsh words at Metallic, and since Piccolo is much more of a smarter fighter than Vegeta, he quickly picked on this and immediately took advantage, allowing Piccolo to knock out Magella here. But at this point, Piccolo is pretty disappointed at the tournament so far because he didn't really get to try out his newest form. That's until he hit the rise. And this is where we get an interesting conversation between these very serious fighters. Piccolo would take this much more seriously than the others because he has this overwhelming presence, even though he doesn't talk much. But the silence spoke volume because Piccolo is also a silent character. So Piccolo doesn't mess around as he tries to defend himself, but as soon as he tries to do his tactics, it easily went through Piccolo's defensive pose and nearly knocked him out of the ring. This was pretty shocked by him and the rest of the fighters, and this is where Goku would try to find information, and also Vegeta would follow Goku because Vegeta is that kind of a fight to want to know about his opponent then before he wants to fight. Luckily, Piccolo is pretty excited knowing he was nearly knocked out, so this allows Piccolo to transform into his newest form. The Piccolo transformed the next day of Ultimate Piccolo, but it showed a little shade of orange, but it isn't as pronounced. But this is where Piccolo gets to shine, is two clashes one and the other, trying to get the better advantage. But unfortunately for Piccolo, even though he's much more stronger than it has a unique technique to just went through Piccolo with 1 and 2 hits, allowing it to knock out Piccolo at the tournament. Pretty devastated. But thanks to Piccolo's exposure to fighting against it, this allows the other fighters to take the information and knows at this point Hit is using some sort of time travel. This allows for the next fighter to get a try. And this allows Goku to try, and Vegeta is okay for this one because he wants to learn as much as possible about it. So Goku and Hit would fight like the original, and it goes pretty similar because Goku just could not outpace Hit here, and Hit knocks out Goku like the original. But even though Goku stepped out, but that's whatever. But since Vegeta has been watching it for a while against other two fighters, Vegeta managed to how Hit's fights and managed to time his attacks. This and also Hit is pretty tight against Goku especially. Even though he did fight Piccolo, but it wasn't much of a struggle for Hit. But for Goku, it was a different story. This allows Vegeta to have a better chance against it. Even though Hit has increased his time skip ability, Vegeta is a smarter fighter than Goku. Because of that, Vegeta has a better timing on where Hit is. And once Vegeta has him, he had him and nearly knocks him out of the tournament, allowing Vegeta to have a win for Universe 7 here, which is pretty weird how it went out. But regardless, Beerus, the to destroy, like Beerus is quite happy and Champa is really disappointed. So at this point, it goes pretty similar that until the Universe Zen came arrive. He still would follow Goku like the original, and then this is like pretty similar until we get to the next arc. So the future Trunks arc goes very similar is in the anime, where Trunks tries to save everyone but couldn't because of a mysterious person, so he had to go back in time so he can get help with Goku and Vegeta. And also Piccolo, which he was there at the beginning where Trunks has arrived. So, this also leads for the mysterious person to travel back to find Trunks and find that he's back in time. So Black, Goku, and Goku still have the original fight here. And it played out pretty similarly, but thanks to Piccolo being there, they have an extra fight on board. So once Trunks has trained a bit with his father Vegeta, and Goku and Piccolo would go with Beards and Reefs to have the investigation on who was Goku Black, and it played out pretty similarly. And thanks to Piccolo knowing how Black Goku's aura is, he finds that the Zamasu guy is quite familiar, but somehow unsure how. But he sensed that is similar to him. But it goes like usual. Goku tries to challenge him, and this is where Zamasu goes crazy and thinks he's truly a god. And at the end, Beerus kills him because he tried to kill his master. That's the played out. So once the rest of the Z fighters goes back in time to fight against not only Goku Black but Zamasu here, finding out there were not just one but two of the vicious villains here that has been causing the future time some headache. Thankfully, there's an extra fighter thanks to Piccolo. So Vegeta and Trunks will fight up against Goku Black, and Goku and Piccolo will tag team against Zamasu. And it played, even though Piccolo that is there, unfortunately the Z fighter is getting manhandled by these two. And also they found out that Zamasu had a wish where he not only switches with Goku's body in this alternative time, but it also made him immortal. And this made the fighting process much more difficult. But luckily Piccolo is helping Goku here, so Goku isn't as injured as before thanks to Piccolo's ultimate form here. When the four fighters tried to retreat for the moment, unfortunately Trunks has to stay here because they didn't want the last few people on Earth to die. So he wants to stay here for the moment till the others could come back much more stronger. And once Piccolo, Vegeta and Goku goes back to their timeline, they formulate a plan how to handle Zamasu's immortal abilities. But however, Piccolo has an idea how to stop Zamasu with the evil spear containment wave. Remember in the very original anime of Dragon Ball, Piccolo actually did this to his other half with Kame. So Piccolo will teach Goku how to do so. But the important key is, since Piccolo is coming with Goku and Vegeta, he would bring the seal, because unlike Goku, Piccolo is not of a klutz, much more intelligent. But for the remainder of the few days, they will properly train. And thanks to Piccolo being there, they are much more stronger in the original. So when they come back to the timeline, it played out pretty similarly, but Piccolo is the one who seals Zamasu away and seal him in this capture thing. And he gives it to Maya and telling her to keep somewhere safe. And since Black Goku is facing four fighters who are much more stronger, Goku Black has no chance, so he gets defeated here. And it played out like how in the original, thanks to Trunks able to killing Black Goku with the Spirit Sword here. And thanks to Zamasu not being there, he's unable to fuse. Since he's unable to fuse, he doesn't become immortal. Therefore, his spirit doesn't corrupt the universe, which means my and Trunks' timeline is savior. And this is a much more good version than the original. It was pretty dark. But anyway, Trunks decides he wants to go back, and this time he wants to try much more harder before he wants to go back. So once he's much more stronger, he goes back in the timeline before saying goodbye to everyone here. And this is where a few months goes past as Piccolo is trying to tap this power that he hasn't unlocked it yet. For the moment in his deep meditation, he finally cracks, but every time he tries to crack in, he always gets fall unconscious here. And with this, Piccolo is because of this, Piccolo is unsatisfied with what has happened, so he wants to keep tapping this potential power. But he's interrupted by this because he's informed that Goku and Gohan telling him that they need him for the upcoming universe tournament. And this is where we'll end our episode here. Sorry guys, you have been waiting for part 2, but I promise you I will finish this part of the story as soon as I'm able to. I'm just focusing on the other things in the channel. So I hope you subscribe to follow along so you get notification on the next part. Until next time, peace.